Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Elections Live. I'm Vernon J. Chiefmoon, and my co-host tonight is the lovely Robin, Leanne Little Bear. Say hi, Robin.
Good evening, everybody.
Today's show is all about getting to know our candidates running for chief and council, and for them to share their platform safely with you due to COVID-19. And we have to protect each other. Our elders are immune compromised, so that's what we're doing today. So in a leadership role, we have to help one another, and that's what we are doing today on this broadcast. So before we begin, wow, another record for last night's broadcast. 4,600 people have watched Blood Tribe Elections Live, so that's really awesome. And tonight we're streaming to YouTube, but there's a delay in our live broadcast to YouTube because probably some of you knew, or your kids told you that YouTube was down. We had a YouTube crash. So unfortunately, our stream couldn't get into YouTube, but it will air at 9 o'clock, 9:30 on YouTube. So for those at home, you could watch us on YouTube about 9:30, or anytime via Blood Tribe Elections YouTube, Blood Tribe Elections 2020 YouTube page. All right. So before we begin and introduce tonight's candidates explaining their platforms, it's November 11th, Remembrance Day. So what we want to do tonight is honor our veterans, those that have sacrificed, served, and continue to serve our country and represented our community, the Blood Tribe. Lest we forget our soldiers and ancestors from the Blood Tribe, we are forever thankful, and we will always remember and thank you for your service. So before we begin, here's a tribute to our veterans.
You packed your bags and shut the door. You crossed the sea to fight a war. You didn't know just what would happen to you. Stepped in the dirt, boots on the ground, and gunfire was the only sound. And to yourself you whispered, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Every day and every night you walk the walk, you fight the fight. You never saw the end in sight, now did you? The days are washed in a haze of red, the blood, the mud, too many dead. Your weary soul is crying, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Too late to help, you hear a shot. You know you're in a deadly spot. You never thought this day would come.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you giving us that moment of silence to pay tribute to our Blood Tribe veterans. And so just to pay homage to them because it's Remembrance Day and to say thank you. Okay, so is there, Robin, your mic on? Okay.
You bet.
All right.
I'm ready.
So before we begin and introduce our guest here, I just want to make something. Some people had some questions here in regards to our forum. First of all, this program we're running is not really a forum because we had some people saying, is it a conflict of interest for myself and Robin to host this forum? But it's not a forum. It's a talk show where we bring in on candidates to highlight only their platforms and for them to have that safe zone to explain what what motivated them to run for chief or council. So we created this platform to highlight a candidate's platform. That's it. Me and Robin are not talking about our campaigns in this show. We're inviting guests to talk about theirs. So that's the purpose of this show. The background of this page was started 8 years ago by myself due to interest of politics, and I've always had a vision, we should give a page for our candidates to express their platforms, so they won't have to worry about oppression and, people getting after them. So we want to create a safe group, an inclusive group, where our candidates can share their platforms, and that's what we did with this page and with this show. So I just wanted to explain that in case there was some misconception or people not understanding the purpose of this show. It's a show, it's not a forum. Okay? So maybe, yeah, Robin, go ahead.
Social media has become an extremely valuable tool in this unprecedented time of a global pandemic. And I think our hope for the show and for our candidates today is to really just encourage and motivate voters to have more discussion with our candidates. We really just want to highlight them and showcase them.
Exactly. So for tonight's guests, we have Elaine Creighton Fox. Wave, Elaine. She's in the top right here. And next up we have Lionel Weaselhead. Lionel Weaselhead's right there. Hey, Lionel.
Hi, Lionel.
And our third speaker is, he switched. Okay, well, we had Shannon up. Oh, sorry. Okay. It's shifted on me here. So Travis Plaited Hair. He's right there.
Okay, Travis.
And our last speaker is Shannon Andrea Wells. Say hi, Andrea. Or Shannon.
Hi.
All right. So we'll start off with Elaine Creighton Fox. We'll give her the live feed here. Let's put a spotlight on you, Elaine. Continue there. Make sure your mic is on, Elaine. I'll send you a notification to turn your mic on.
Okay.
All right. Elaine, live is all yours.
Okay. Nistwanako Katkweepik Saki, Yellowbird Woman. My name is Elaine Creighton Fox, and I was born and raised on a blood reserve. I've been off reserve for about 29 years, and in that time I've been working continuously on and off reserve about 38 years, and I have obtained a Bachelor of Management degree with a major in Human Resources. And I want my platform for this election is healing and wellness, ongoing healing and wellness. I feel we need to come together, and we had the opioid crisis, and then we had all the overdoses from that. And then we've had deaths every week. And so there's a lot of grieving out there, unresolved trauma and grieving and loss. And then we've had the pandemic. And so it's been trying this year, 2020. But especially the Blackfoot people, we're known for being resilient, First Nations across Canada. And my platform, we really need to come together, streamline the initiatives and the efforts that are ongoing back home in terms of addressing the overdoses and the addictions, not only on the reserve, but in the city as well. I
Elaine,
feel
sorry to
uh,
bother you there. Can you turn
uh,
your mic on and off?
you can't hear me.
Yeah, people said they were having issues. Okay, go on,
On.
mute, and do it again. Okay, so say hi.
Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Okay, guys, can you hear Elaine now? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, so say hi. I'm just checking
On.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're on air. Sorry
Okay.
about that. There must have
Uh,
been a glitch on your end there.
okay. So, anyways, I would like to streamline the service. We've all have these initiatives to help our people overcome the addictions on the reserve, and I think I have a vision. It's kind of fragmented. We need to all have one comprehensive model, one model to address the addictions and the wraparound supports that I feel are so important. I was talking, and then we can't forget our people in city of Lethbridge, our brothers and sisters that are suffering right now. I had a meeting with Mark Braverock from the Sage Clan Patrol. I meet with him now and then. He invites me to whatever functions they have in Lethbridge, and I go there to show my support. And the tribe needs to support that initiative in the city. We run against systemic racism in southern Alberta. That's a fact. And as a tribe, we have to pull together and work with each other and go and help our brothers and sisters in the city. I also was talking to Brian Pantherbone. He's up in Calgary, and they have the same issues and problems and concerns. And these are our people. It doesn't matter if we're off the reserve. We're off the reserve for different reasons. We need to still have that support and services. So for some of the strategic things I had in mind for implementing this, to have healing and wellness as a comprehensive model, we should start looking at a transition home in the city of Lethbridge for our people. The shelter there, they just go there, they sleep there. The next day they're gone. They're back to the streets, their social lives. And I know there's organizations in Lethbridge that try to help, but I think the tribe, we need to come and help them. They're still our people. They're really suffering, and like Mark told me, you need to engage with them. You need to talk with them, hear from them, listen to them, and just the fact that we support them, it just gives them so much hope. So I am really all about healing and wellness. I've been doing work behind the scenes over the years, making contacts and connections with various agencies and organizations and officials, always speaking up for Southern Alberta, the Blackfoot, our people. Because at the end of the day, at some point, I'll be going back home because that's home. Some of the ways we can implement this wraparound support services on the reserve right now, we should get some transportation. There's the 4 communities, and it's a big reserve. We should have transportation for support meetings for AA, NA, and now we've got grief and loss, big time need. We really need this. People are grieving at home, and we need to, I know we've got COVID, but we've got multi-purpose. We can get creative, and we can have the distancing and the masks and the sanitizing, but still come together and help each other through a process of grieving. My other platform is on self-sufficiency. And when I talk self-sufficiency, I'm talking about it's high time we look to ourselves. We are our own best resources. We have resources back home on the reserve. We have people that have trained. We have a growing demographic. I think 70 to 75% of our people from the Bloods are 30 and under. And a lot of them are off reserve, getting trained in all kinds of occupations, and we've got a labor force, and we need to start recognizing those and give them the supports. And with self-sufficiency, small business, we got to go and give the supports for them, have an office in standoff at ECDEV and support our entrepreneurs 5 years. Like, we get them the application. I've been there, done that, get them the application, and then there's nothing else. So we need that 5 year to kind of help them, guide them, mentor them, get the retired business owners and mentor our people so they can succeed in their initiatives for small business, have grant writers, because not all of us, a lot of us need that access. We need some help to write up these proposals, because in the European world, it's all about paperwork, and a lot of people, our people shy away from that. It's too much. Know what we can, it's doable. It's common sense and a good business head, and it's very doable. We've got so much potential on the reserve for small business. I'm a firm believer in that. And at some point, 20 years ago, I mentioned that Nakpit, standing alone, he was still alive, and I spoke at the university. I was a guest speaker, and I told them, leadership, we got to start our own resources. We've got the largest Indian reserve in Canada. It's high time we started planting the seed to start farming our own lands. About 15 years ago, they were taking off about 81 million off the reserve after they paid a 5%, and then the farmers, the owners, or imagine what we could do with that revenue if it stayed on the reserve, the supports, and because we're growing population. The land base is not growing, except for the recent claim we might get an additional 200 plus acres of land. But still, we need to be self-sufficient. We need to start. Ghana is situated on what they call prime agricultural land. Adam Delaney, back in the day, he told me, Gukuna, you look around, Cardston, Glenwood, McLeod, Pincher, Lethbridge, Raymond. How do these people, because we're right in the middle of them, what's their resources? How do they make their living? Can you say you collaborate and you follow suit, and but we work together with each other. So in that sense, I'm talking self-sufficiency. At some point, start doing that. And then my other platform is on helping the off reserve for reasons of we've got no housing. Some of us have no land. We have employment. We apply, and it's such a big demand, employment. Jobs are scarce out there. We go to the cities to get our education, and we need help out here too. They count us as the total membership when they apply for funding to the different governments. But then we are kind of left out. And so my daughter was saying to, how come our kids, when they graduate, they don't have a Pendleton blanket? And we are stronger, being independent in the city. We should be acknowledged. And I have a vision to retain the language and culture. Instead of the Pendleton blankets, now we have Blackfoot apps, and give that as graduation presents to the graduates. And then for the addictions prevention in the class, and get them young and start doing anti-drug campaigns, and just really work with and promote the language and culture. We have so many resources. We just need to collaborate, streamline, so we're more efficient. And then I think we can do a lot and rebuild Kaina, and we should be proud, and we're a proud nation. Let's get that back together. And big time, my platform, compassion, Gimabibitsun, all my life, and I've worked for where I'm at, and I'm still working, and learning is lifelong. And another thing I want to leave with the people, Adam Delaney, again, that guy is the saint for my grandchildren. He was crying ahead of time for his grandchildren, and look what we're seeing today. So that, to me, is my appeal to our people. Popularity votes, yes, we all want to vote for our relatives, but it's time we put that aside. We got to look at the bigger picture and start really advocating for our people, the ones that can't speak up. They're suffering. I see our people suffering in the streets, and we need to help them. We need to care. And promoting, I was facilitating some training and development programs for Bikani youth, Blood youth, urban youth, and I had a message. You hit them with some grief and loss, some trauma, a little bit of healing. You refer them to the professionals, but their first hurts, and then you hit them with identity. Who are you? You've got connections to these roots of the land the city of Lethbridge is on, and almost southern Alberta. we've got connections. We have an identity. It was your grandfathers that built those highways, south running number 2 south to north and number 1 west to east. It was your grandfather, our ancestors, their trails that the Europeans built over. When I say that, they sit up with pride. And then I get them into drumming and song. What's your Blackfoot name? That's the power of our culture. And then after that, the last part of my presentation when I work with our youth is then I give the career and the academic advice for education or for jobs if you want to go job searching, resume writing and skill development. So that's my portfolio, and we've come a long way. We've got good leadership back home. I'm not going to go say this and this. All of us try every term, and the administration, the workers, they try their best. Everybody, we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. You're liked and you're hated. You got to rise above, have courage, move forward, get people to start working together. And I heard we're going to have bison. Well, going back to our cultural ways, maybe start Indian Day, start the rations, and we have to promote the culture. So to me, that's really important. The children in foster care, now there's the young parents, they're in desperate need of parenting skills. And the mentors, the grandmothers, grandfathers on the reserve and in the city, we need to get groups going, get societies going, and come in and help these young people. It's challenging. We need to help them learn how to budget, the ones in the city have it a really hard time than the ones on reserve. So that's where my heart is with our young people, and then just self-sufficiency and just helping us get well and get some state of balance. Hun.
Good job, Elaine. Okay, so now Robin's going to ask you a question pertaining to your platform. Go ahead, Robin.
Questions when they're done.
Oh, we'll hold that at the end. That's right. Sorry about that. Okay, so next up, we have Lionel Weaselhead. Lionel, we'll put you in the spotlight here. And we'll take you off there, Elaine. Okay.
Okay, take Lionel.
Lionel, you're live.
Okay, Mr. Anagoga Biomita, Lionel Weaselhead. I just want to first of all thank Vernon for putting, the veterans and their families up. I just want to commend all of them for keeping the spirit alive of our veterans, and thank you for that. Secondly, I just want to address, what we've been going through, the COVID-19. At our schools, we've gone over and above what is expected from Blood Tribe Health and Alberta Health Services, and I'm very proud of that we're trying to keep our kids safe. As well, Blood Tribe Health for our community. I just want to talk a little bit about my family life. I live here on the reserve. I've been married to my wife, Roxanne, for 30 years now. We have 5 beautiful daughters, Brittany, Mercedes, Keely, Madison, Layla, and we finally have a grandson. So have a fellow gentleman with our family who can finally back me up now. Just kidding, with the 6 ladies. So Holden, he's 2.5 years old. So I'm very happy to be a grandparent. My family, my father's Norbert Fox, mother's Gloria Weaselhead. My grandparents are Irene and Charlie Weaselhead, George and Margaret Fox. And then also my in-laws, Andrew and the late Margaret Weaselfat. I think in life, our experiences has brought us to where we are as individuals, and we can't take all the credit. So, being a part of so many great organizations, meeting so many people, working with our children for a number of years at the high school, being involved in sports is very dear to my heart. You know, it helped me get away from the struggles and challenges that my mother was having at the time. So I just want to share that. Also, you know, my platform is of course on K to 12 education. I've been on the board, Conai Board of Education for 10 years now. Um, 4 years as chair, and you know, I have learned a lot about education. Not only that, but our workers, our employees, our staff, they go over and above, and you know, I'm so proud of them. And you know, our leadership, our administration, you know, it takes a focused strategic plan and priorities to get things done. And our group has come together, and we focused on you know, our Blackfoot language, you know, our graduation rates, our you know, our challenges that we face. We know our kids love to come to school. You know, it's their time to be who they are. You know, they may have challenges at home, but you know, we try and support them as best we can. You know, so I'm very proud to be a part of Conai Board of Education. Also, Red Crow Community College. I've been on the board, you know, for 10 years, not consecutively, off and on, and you know, we've done a lot of good work there. You know, and I've been from the get-go some 12 years ago. You know, started up a building committee, and now we're going to see that come to life in 2 years' time. We're going to be able to house a maximum of 900 students. And Robin, you know, you're a part of our board. I want to thank you as well for all your hard work. But you know, this is where our people need, and that's why I say education should be one of our top priorities, as well as I'll get to the opioid addiction and you know, our current COVID. But you know, education, it gives our people that hope and that strength to continue on, and to you know, not only do it for themselves, but most of us come back and help our community, and we share with what we have. And you know, at Red Crow College, you know, we're getting involved with this new building. So many programs are going to be coming up in trades, agriculture, our language. You know, our elders are going to be a big part of that. You know, these are just a few new additions. You know, daycare. We're going to have daycare for our students. We're, you know, the food industry as well. And you know, that's one initiative, you know, we need to support Red Crow on, you know, is the community gardens. We've started that a couple years now. You know, we go to help out so many less fortunate kids. Come to our community gardens, and they pick and they bring them home. And whatever we have left at the end of the year, we give it to the food bank. And we only do this through 4 or 5 acres of land. Imagine if we had 100, we'd be able to have food security for our nation. That's what we need to get involved in as well. Lastly, I just want to say, you know, being a part of Conai Healing Lodge for 4 years, I know we proposed the aftercare program, you know, with and turning the old Red Crow student housing into some family units that people going through opioids can bring their family and go through training, go through counseling. And that's what sometimes it takes, because our when people go into treatment, they're there by themselves. If they have their family, they're going to be able to continue on that program. You know, I have so many more on that aftercare program that we worked on. You know, unfortunately, this never came to be, but that's something I would like to resurrect again and see if we can follow through. So lastly, just thank Elaine for bringing up we're not perfect. None of us are. We need to work together. Governance is another thing I want to bring up. It's about accountability, transparency. And somebody brought up, I spoke on my webpage about this, and, I'm looking to have bi-monthly meetings. If it's just myself, to open it up and go around to different communities and for them to come questions and give me ideas and solutions. And at the same time, I'll be letting them know what we're planning at Chief and Council, what's going to happen. So everybody knows what's going on and they can have a voice. So with that, I just want to thank all my fellow candidates, and for you listening out there, respect each other, be kind to each other, and love each other. Thank you.
Good job,
Thank you,
Lionel.
Lionel. That was
Okay, so next up in the spotlight, we're going to Traveler, aka Travis. Plaited here. Travis, just give us a minute to put you in the spotlight. There you go, Travis. You're live. Facebook land is yours.
Okay. Nastana ko ka akayabs cinema. Gigit ko na sa kan ka atako. Kitik ka chini taka ka mo chino kamuk sa kana ko ka I chini pui sa kan ka ki. Tapis na gan hakitiskin na hakita pa. Chini ko pa ka ki naps ko pa no kan statim stachpin na nisukit sim statu pin na. Gan. Ginyo kan suka pi Kichi po sini akta matapasi. Gas no ni tanji taix kuki au kaki aksats tu si kichi po sini. Ganske nochtach sa oktu matapu. Ginogat danstio kaki kaka tapian kaki ice tio matates tapi chimia. Gidax tamia pi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Travis. Travis Plaited hair, and I want to thank Vernon and Robin for giving me the opportunity to speak on your show this evening. It's really awesome. I listened to the one last night. It was great, and having over 4,000 listeners is really good. So you're doing a really good job. Keep that up. I don't have a lot of time here, so I'm going to kind of just later on, when Robin asks us more specific questions on our platform, I'll get into a little bit more detail. But I think for this evening, I just wanted to basically introduce myself to the community, and let you know that I did accept the nomination. My name is on the ballot, and I put Traveler out there, and I got a lot of people calling me and texting me, and where'd that come from? So I promised that I would explain that a little bit. So I think I'll quickly share that story with you. Way back, about 100 years ago. No, I'm just kidding. As you all know, my father, the late Pete Stanlow, spent a lot of time down south in Texas, Oklahoma, working the oil fields, working ranches all over the place. And he met a lot of people. And he always talked about this one particular gentleman that kind of gave him a break and gave him a really good job in the oil fields. And his name was Travis Gibson. And of course, they would go out to the bars and drink and that. And like we start telling each other, well, when you have your firstborn, you make sure you name him after me, Travis Gibson. So my dad said, yeah, well, I'll do that. And lo and behold, I was born in 1960. My father wasn't around. He had to head back down south, but he left instructions with my mother. And he said, if it's a boy, Travis Gibson, make sure. And it's just, I got it, Travis, yeah. And my dad left. And when he came home, he came to see us, and he was really happy that he got a boy. And my mom told him, okay, I'm out Travelers. Huh? So I didn't start Travis. That is Travis. Oh, I didn't understand what you said. But it was too late by then. It was already recorded and everything. So that's where that name came from, Traveler. But later on, my dad did tell me, make sure you go change and go correct it. But things happen for a reason, so I just left it. I never bothered with it. But everywhere else, I'm Travis Plaited here. Only in the band books, I'm Traveler. So now you know the story. Wait for the book. There's more. It gets more interesting. Anyways, a little bit about what the reasons why I decided to run. I've been working off the reserve pretty much all my adult life. I've worked at the Buffalo Jump. I've worked for Indian News Media. I've worked for Lethbridge College. I've worked for the Chief and Council. I've worked for Secoctic Friendship Society, where I am now. I'm actually the executive director currently at the Secoctic Friendship Society. I've been here for about almost 4 years now. And I've worked the last 3, maybe 4 elections in some capacity. And I really got to understand the whole process, and I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of fun working the elections with everybody. And then before I took the job as executive director here at the Friendship Center, I actually accepted a job of Chief and Council liaison back in, I don't remember when it was. I think it was around 2013 or something like that. But I spent, when Chief Charlie was the Nina at the time, I worked under his wing for all those years. And I really, really enjoyed working there because it really literally threw me into the fire. I felt that I was kind of disconnected from the community because I worked off reserve for so long, and I wanted to, reconnect, so to speak. And that job was perfect because I got to work with all the directors, all the departments, and I, really had a good experience there. But times change, and sometimes you need to move on, and this opportunity came, so I gladly accepted this job. But this past year, as you all know, we transferred, and I kind of freed myself, and I talked to the elders and asked them what they would think if I ran. And I said, "What could you get in on the sky? Get to stop to more matapia, got some more sky. Get some So I went ahead and I decided to throw my traveler into the hat there. I just want everyone to know that those of you who know me, I'm always out there. I volunteer wherever I can. My dad always, when I told him, I'm going to do the rodeo, the big rodeo this year. And my dad told me, well, it's about time they start paying you for your big mouth. So that big mouth kind of got me all over the place too. So I'm out there helping out wherever I can. I've been on the powwow committee for so long. But I've done a lot of work, mainly for youth, mainly for elders and community. And because I'm here in Lethbridge, I understand what the issues are. And Elaine alluded to those. I see it every day. And I'm going to give you guys a few details on some of the things that we're currently doing. I know a platform you want to, it's very, you got a vision of what you want to accomplish in your time as council, but I believe that you have to have priorities, and you need to do things like right now, yesterday, because there's work that needs to be done right away, and I'm doing that right away. I'm taking care of our relatives, and I'll share a little bit more on what we're doing here in Lethbridge right now. Because the things that we're doing here can be very easily adapted to the tribe also. Elaine also mentioned working with the tribe and working with the city, but not only the city of Lethbridge, we have our people in Calgary. We literally have people around the world, our members. They're all over the world, and they all are still members of our tribe, and we still have to assist and help them out in any way we can. And I believe that as a counselor, that'll give me that voice to help those people, better than I'm currently doing now. So I have a lot of ideas on how we can accomplish those things. Like I said, I don't have enough time here to get into details, but I'll share a little bit for you in a little bit. But I just want everybody to know that I'm a hard worker. I've worked all my life. I've been around people like my grandfather, the late Bob Plaited here, my late uncle Wallace Delaney, my father Pete Standing Alone, my uncle Alfred Standing Alone. All these individuals were men. They were hard workers, and I learned that good work ethic from them, and I try to teach that to our young people too. You need to work, go to school, do whatever you can, be productive, do something with your life. I've had challenges in my life, I've overcome them, and I want to give back to our people and help them out and to be successful. And when we're successful, the tribe is successful too. Han.
Good job, Travis. I was trying to get your attention. Your mic was off all that time. So you have to do it again. Jokes.
Okay,
You were good. Good job, Travis. Next up, we have Shannon Andrea Wells, who's going to be coming on and sharing her platform with us. Give us a second, Shannon. We'll give you the spotlight. Go ahead, Shannon. You're live.
Okay, Nistu Anok Sawaki. Good evening, Kainai. I'm Shannon Wells. My family knows me as Annie Weasel Fat. In the 2016 elections, I ran for chief. In the current elections, I ask for your support as I campaign for a seat on council. I have my bachelor's degree in management with a major in human resource and industrial relations from the University of Lethbridge. I'm currently employed as a human resource specialist for the Government of Alberta. I've been doing this position for a little over 2 years. As we endure the pandemic and strive to keep our people healthy, we need to find efficiencies and increase our resources to ensure our people are not struggling, especially our most vulnerable, our elders, children and youth, our homeless, and those suffering from addictions. In addition, our workforce need opportunities to find meaningful employment. Prior to stepping back into HR, I was a caseworker, career counselor with Blood Tribe Social Development. I had the opportunity to work with amazing people, especially the clients we served. ESD, Enhanced Service Delivery, is specifically for youth ages 18 to 24, many of whom are not old enough to vote in this upcoming election. This needs to change. They are young moms, dads, struggling students who face numerous barriers and obstacles, such as addictions, homelessness, poverty, and health issues. But their stories are not my own to share. But each one affected my perception of daily reserve living. My eyes were open to their struggles. We need to protect our elders' health while maintaining a high quality of life. We need to ensure programs in place, for example, an elder center where they can socialize, craft, and participate in youth and cultural programs by sharing stories, knowledge, and our language. We need to support our children and youth by increasing supports and resources to ensure our future, our children and youth, are healthy community members. Our neighbors to the east, Medicine Hat, can boast of a 0% homeless rate. Blood Tribe can achieve the same goal by taking innovative, out-of-the-box approaches to our issues. Others may need a common sense approach. For example, if a family needs supports through social development and the main barrier to employment is transportation, is it not cheaper to provide transportation to the individual so she or he can go work and provide for the family rather than have them struggle with a monthly allowance? The solution would be to bring different departments together to strategize a solution as to how we can accomplish this and identify resources needed to make it happen. Things may have always been done a certain way in departments. It doesn't mean they cannot change and grow to meet the needs of our people. We cannot be limited by funding agreements. We need to make the agreements work to meet the needs of our people. As a tribe, we can leverage ourselves, networking, and utilizing partnerships with industry, municipalities, and business to access our underutilized employment pool. Our people need to be considered first, or be given a level playing field to compete in the workforce on and off reserve. I have championed change management in various positions, most recently on a provincial level, having developed a rural recruitment strategy for the provincial government, where I have identified Kainai and surrounding reserves as an underutilized applicant pool, which we need to begin accessing. Over the course of my career, I have learned the benefits of a sound business plan. If voted in, a priority is the development of a community plan. Specific, measurable goals for 4, 8, 12, and 16-year milestones. This plan would be created in consultation with community members, elders, by having community meetings on a regular basis. I believe in being fair, open, and transparent. Our current structure is designed to ensure we have conflicting priorities. We need to ensure all programs and services are streamlined to attain a united community goal. As a nation, we're being pulled in different directions. When we are united, we can become a healthy, prosperous nation. We can do better for our people. Stay healthy, Kainai. Vote Shannon Andrea Wells for a healthy, prosperous community.
Good job, Shannon.
Shannon.
Okay, so what's going to happen now is I'll turn the spotlight to Robin, and she will ask a few questions pertaining to your platform. All right, go ahead, Robin.
Okay. Good job, you guys. That's all good stuff. Elaine, you talked about healing and wellness coming together. You talked about the opioid crisis and the impacts on us, and specifically the grieving. The tremendous grieving that we're seeing in our community. Our death rate has risen so much. You talked about being a resilient community. We're known for that. And we need to work on initiatives to overcome this. You talked about your vision to have one comprehensive model. You talked about wraparound services. You talked about pulling together to help others in the cities, in the urban centers, Lethbridge and Calgary, and a comprehensive model that includes a transition home off reserve here in Lethbridge, and a need to come and help our urban people that are struggling. Self-sufficiency, we're our own best resources. We need to recognize our labor force. You talked about supporting small business and being mentors. Needing grant writers. We have a growing population, and we need to keep our language and culture. We need to rebuild Kainai. Elaine, I would like to talk to you about self-sufficiency. If you are a successful candidate in this next election, how do you see yourself working towards self-sufficiency?
For the people?
As a member, yep.
As a member of the Blood Tribe Self-Sufficiency, I would encourage everyone to get an education. But our first higher learning is our language and culture. That's the higher learning. I would really advocate for that. We have to stop depending on handouts. We got to get some pride back into the community. I would lobby with the different communities and get their ideas. What else can we do? We have to help each other, help ourselves. So self-sufficiency also means, for me, at the bigger picture, is that use of our natural resources, like the big lease. We need to at some point start farming that. Look at all the boys that we can start training. We've got college, the agriculture college program at Lethbridge, and I'm sure Red Crow's got that as well. Lionel can speak more to that, but we need to start, at least plant the seed of, okay, Let's get those millions. Let's get them back, reinvest into the communities. That would boost. We could help people going off reserve to get education. I've felt a need for a long time that we have student housing. The tribes should invest in some houses in Lethbridge, in Calgary, where our people are going for education. In that way, self-sufficiency, self-governance, will help each other. We just don't have enough resources to help everyone, so we have to help ourselves. So as a counselor, I would really advocate for that. I would support the education initiatives big time, and I'm so proud we're getting our own college on the reserve. And I would get transportation back and forth so that the urban people, our brothers and sisters, the ones that want to go for education on the reserve, they can have transportation to the reserve, not just reserve to Lethbridge, but it goes back that way. See, it's coming to that point where we're getting things redirected back to the reserve. But we will always have the people moving because we're just like that. We move, hey, to get our livelihoods. But to support each other, self-sufficient, we have to help each other in that sense, providing the means to achieve that. One way is transportation. I think he also talked about daycare big time. We need that. And get student housing on the reserve as well, not only for the addressing the healing and wellness, the addictions, but for our young people trying to get into school, the young families, get them student housing on the reserve and off the reserve in the cities. To me, that's my idea of self-sufficiency. Does that answer your question, Robin?
Yes, very good. Thank you. Okay, next up, Lionel. You can unmute your microphone. Lionel, you talked about education. You talked about, I really like this, it takes a strategic plan with goals. And you and I both know we've been working very hard on that kind of stuff. So glad to see that. You talked about the Blackfoot language being a priority in education as well as looking at grad rates. Then you talked about post-secondary and our new college coming. That was a good update for everybody too. You talked about how education gives hope and strength for our community. You talked about the community gardens that Red Crow College has been doing for the last couple of years. You talked about the Healing Lodge and an aftercare program. You talked about transparency and a really excellent idea of bi-monthly meetings. So Lionel, if you are a successful candidate in this coming election, as far, and you know, Lionel, we're working on education funding. How do you see yourself continuing to pursue down that path, the education funding piece, that priority piece?
Thank you, Robin, for that question. And, you sit on KBE as well as Red Crow with myself. There's one thing that we've been talking about, and it's about statutory funding. Canada, when they announced their annual budget, 75% of their money goes to statutory funding, and 25% go to grants and contributions. So if they're in a deficit, where do you think they're going to cut right off the bat is grants and contributions. So with statutory funding, we have the opportunity to be a true nation, Canada. We have that opportunity to sit and negotiate with them. And all of our priorities can be on there. That's what we're in right now in the negotiation process within the next year. And it's very important for us to get on this type of mentality, so that way, once Canada reads its budget, it will automatically come to us for funding. We won't have to hope and wait and see, and our membership, we're very strong, Sure, we're not perfect, but a lot of us work together. And I think, I think Annie brought it up. I see that at Red Crow, we have partnerships with U of L, LC, Bow Valley, UFC, all these, but we don't have partnerships with our own entities. This is where, we can partner up with, this, the same priority or the same clientele and work together and cost share ideas and challenges and be able to put that money, into good use. And we're more accountable to our entire community, not just one department or one entity. So on funding, statutory funding is something I would bring up and something we should go down that lane, to try and achieve. So with that, I just want to thank everybody. And of course, you can reach me at my Facebook page, Lionel Weaselhead for Blood Tribe Council, or at email.com if you have any. So thank you, Robin, for that question.
Awesome. Thank you very
Lionel,
much.
repeat that email address again. You kind of froze there for a second.
Okay, it's Kainai Warrior 97 at gmail.com.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can run through and if anybody wants to put out any more contact information, we'll certainly give some time for that. Okay, Travis, you're next. You can unmute. Oh, looks like you're ready to go. So Travis, you talked about having priorities and getting down to action, doing things right away. You talked about, we have people all around the world. We have members that are not only in our local urban areas, we have people all over the place. You talked about being a hard worker all your life and being ready to give back. Travis, I know working at a friendship center, you're very familiar with our homeless community and the impacts that has on their lives. I guess my question to you this evening is, if you are a successful candidate for Blood Tribe Chief and Council, how do you see yourself pursuing remedies for homelessness or addressing homelessness?
Okay, first of all, I think before I get to that, it's important that we have a real diverse group at the council to address there's so many things that the tribe needs to address. The homeless, economic development, so many things. And I want to encourage the voters out there to really, really look at the individuals and what kind of experience they have in that, so that we can fill the immediate needs. So when I say immediate, I mean like right now. I've been working here in Lethbridge now for about 3 years, and I've worked here in the past before. So currently, to address the homeless situation here, when I started this job, the first thing I did is I went to go see the mayor. And I sat with the mayor, and then we sat with some of the different departments. And as a group, we started to come up with solutions. And we have our own community leaders that live here in the city that are very active. So here are some of the things that have been approved for this upcoming year, January the 1st. Number one, we've been approved for a supportive housing for high needs individuals. We formed a consortium with YWCA and Sasha and the Friendship Center. That funding has been approved. We actually have 7 of our members are going to be moving in this week. So they're going to be sheltered right away. Now, along with that, we are now we're putting a proposal together right now. We're going to do winter's here, okay? That's why I said we need to do things now. We can't sit around and talk. We can talk, but as long as we have results. So we got results. So we got the consortium going to address the homeless, and we're getting them housed. The second thing we're doing, we can't house everybody, obviously, but they got to go somewhere. So we are now putting together a drop-in style. We're just trying to locate we've got a couple of locations here in the city that the city's going to donate. They're going to provide the funding for that. So they'll have somewhere to go during the day. And then we're going to talk to them and encourage them to maybe go home. Elaine, you talked about transportation. We're talking about that too. For some reason they don't want to go to the shelter, but we're gonna convince them that they need to go to the shelter. Now with that, the bigger picture, we were approved, and the Friendship Center was a part of it for over $11 million for a permanent building that's going to house 48 beds. That's going to take care of those really high, the individuals that are really at risk. They'll be housed too. It's modeled after a place up in Edmonton that I went to go visit. It's called Ambrose House, and it's run by an Indian Native organization. I forget how many beds they have, but it's 4 levels. They have little apartments. They have their own bathroom, their own living room, their own little kitchen, and it's their apartment. They pay for it through ACE or however income they have. And then the bottom area is the support. So whatever they need, the support systems are there. There's a living room there, they can watch TV, exercise room, and then there's a main kitchen that they can have their meals down there. But the one that really, of course, got me was they had a ceremonial room where they could reconnect and talk to elders. Because to me, that's the key. They got to reconnect with our culture. That's what's going to help them more than anything. So those are things that are happening right now. And it took partnering with the city, with other organizations in the city, and getting it done. Quit talking, let's just do it. Now, the other thing that I'm very proud of is we also got funding to form the Friendship Center. Now will become the cultural hub of the city of Lethbridge. In other words, all the other organizations, institutions, they have to come and see us first whenever they're going to implement any kind of a cultural program relating to Blackfoot and more specifically Ghana. Because I've been hearing way too many stories that are not even true. So we go to our elders. We're not saying we know it all, but I know people who do on the reserve. We're going to bring them in, educate the broader community about our culture so they don't mess that up. So that's happening. We got approval for funding for that in January too. Out of just these 3, we're going to be hiring at least maybe 4 to 6 new positions here in the city for our people. So those are things that we're doing right now. And all it takes is negotiation, an idea, and go out and see the right people and make things happen. So that's just an example. But of course, there's the opioids, the addictions. Man, our people are really, really hurting. And they can't wait another day. You got to do it now, okay? I'm all for education. I'm all for economic development. I'm all for all those things down the road. But you know what? Our people are dying, literally dying. And our old people that are up there looking down at us, well, do it. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to encourage all of our candidates to do the same. Let's see what we can do right now, okay?
Good job.
Yeah.
I think your signal light is on, Travis.
Yeah, I know. I have my own timer. I don't listen to my own timer.
Listening. Shannon is our next candidate. You can unmute your microphone. Shannon, you talked about finding efficiencies and looking out for the vulnerable and our elders. You talked about needing opportunities for employment. You talked about ESD is for youth. We need to change the voting age. You talked about our youth that face lots of barriers. You've been very affected by the things that you've experienced through your career, and it's really opened your eyes. You've talked about children and youth, homelessness, providing transportation, bringing departments together to strategize. We need to change. We need to be not so limited. We need to have partnerships with industries, and people need to be considered first. You've been experienced in change management, and You talked about the benefits of sound business plans and priorities in the community. Our priority should be a overall community business plan with continued consultation. I think that's an excellent idea. And you talked about being fair, open, and transparent. Really good stuff. Shannon, my question for you this evening is, if you are a successful candidate on the next Blood Tribe Council, how do you see yourself working to support small business development?
Thank you for that question. I truly believe small business is key to a prosperous community. Our Economic Development Department is tasked with providing small business grants and supports. Increasing resources and supports to this department, which in turn will support our business by increasing grants and programming for aspiring entrepreneurs. And additionally, ensuring our people know how to access these supports and have as little barriers to success, and can access programming and funding successfully. Encouraging our departments and entities to support and utilize our local entrepreneurs before accessing non-Blood Tribe businesses. I truly believe our economy is best enhanced by promoting our local business. Over the course of my career path, the most rewarding experience has been developing the Youth Entrepreneur Camp. Aiding the kiddos in budgeting and basic business plans, exposing them to different local business opportunities. A few of the youth entrepreneurs have grown into successful businesses today. In addition, networking to ensure that these businesses can be set up for success, help create opportunities for them to provide services not only to our local people, but to off-reserve markets. Thanks.
Good job, Shannon. Thank you very much.
Good job, Shannon. Good job, guys. Okay, we'll just take you off the spotlight there. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm the technical guy as well as a host, as well as the producer, sound guy. So we're just trying to do all this at once here. All right. So that concludes tonight's Blood Tribe Elections Live. We thank you everyone for joining us. We'd like to thank Lionel, Shannon, Elaine, Travis. Thank you guys for your time. Just like them, if you want to be on tonight's show, inbox me on the Facebook Blood Tribe Elections page and let me know you want to be on the show. It's just that easy, and then we'll get you on. All right. So I just want to highlight this. Tonight's show is a show that we put the focus on candidates and their platforms. This is not a forum style, but it's an inclusive show where we spotlight our candidates just so everybody's aware of, okay? So before we go, Robin, did you want to add anything?
I just want to say that our hope is that we motivate you to get in touch with our candidates. I think we've had about a dozen candidates so far over 3 nights. So I encourage you all to get in touch with the candidates. A lot of them have their platforms posted on the elections page, and they've given you a bit of contact information, I think, as well. So we encourage you to have discussion with your candidates and ask questions. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening.
And just a reminder, we're on YouTube, but like I said, when we first went on the air, YouTube crashed, so you probably noticed that with your grandkids screaming, there's no YouTube. So we have a live link into YouTube, but it won't be probably around 9:30, 10. It should be on YouTube, so look for that. Go to YouTube under Blood Tribe Elections 2020. Those are for people that can view YouTube via their shop devices, TELUS, Roku, smart TVs, so they can rewatch this episode and the last 2 episodes. So before we go, I'd like to thank you guys for your support. Yesterday's episode, 4,600 views. We really appreciate it. It's just letting us know that this platform is working not only for us, but for the candidates, so you can clearly hear their platforms and what they're running for and what they believe in. All right, that concludes tonight's Blood Tribe Elections Live. Thank you everybody for joining us. Be safe, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Irma.
Any more jokes, Travis?